already started 250 years. What makes us great? Daniel Bassali, good to see you. I mean, we got a big birthday coming up, right? 250 years this great nation has been around, and it is great.
That's right. Good to see you, Trish, and thank you for having me on. Coming up July 4th, 2026, America turns 250, but we don't want to wait to celebrate how awesome the country is. So AFP, we're getting started early.
No, I love it. I love that you guys are taking the whole year to celebrate this birthday because it is a big deal. And, you know, it's one thing to have fireworks and parades. It's another thing, though, to, I think, talk about and just get sort of back to basics about why this nation was founded and why we need to remember this. Because in light of some of the stuff that's been going on, whether it be AOC, Bernie Sanders, or Mamdani in New York, I'm telling you, people are forgetting what is so special. So just for a little moment, like walk me down memory lane and give us a little history lesson, because these founding fathers, they were way ahead of their times.
Yeah, so that's the entire point of this campaign. We want to connect people to our founding principles. We believe that what makes America special, what has gotten us to this point, is our principles and our people. And those principles, they're special. They created the freedom and opportunity that we enjoy today, that's created the greatest nation humankind has ever seen. I mean, some of these ideas were radical when the founding fathers put them on paper. Dignity, that every person has inherent worth, that rights come from our creator, not the government. Freedom, that you should be able to speak and worship and live the way you want, and that we have freedom. The people give the power to the government. We don't get our power from the government. Opportunity, that we all deserve our chance to take a risk, to fail or succeed, and we call that the American dream. Equality under the law, that we all should have the same rights. Limited government, that the government's meant to protect those rights rather than tell us every little thing about how we should be living our lives. And civic duty, that our free society depends on people stepping up in this country. And that's what this campaign is about. It's a call to action. If we just spend all our time celebrating America and eating hot dogs and watching the fireworks, we're going to have missed a big opportunity to really have a very important conversation and move our country forward. And that's what our campaign's all about.
Tell us really quickly just where people can go to learn more.
Oh, yeah. You can go to takeonesmallstep.com.
Okay, takeonesmallstep.com. I mean, one of the things that I get frustrated about is that kids are not learning enough about civics. They're not learning enough about our American history. And if they are learning something, it's not filled with any sense of pride, right? It's like total shame. Like, oh my gosh, we did this. It's Columbus Day, right? It's Columbus Day. And yet people will say, no, it's Indigenous Peoples Day because Columbus was horrible. And I'm like, okay, guys, can we not look at everything through like the prism of actual history and like try and put yourself, like have some empathy, right? For time and place, etc. And let's be really clear, if it weren't for certain people, no matter how bad you think they are through a historical lens, we wouldn't be here. You touched on something else, Daniel, which people like don't, I think, appreciate enough, but the American dream, which is so intrinsic to who we are, in that anybody can come here from anywhere and make a success of themselves if they're willing to work hard, right? Sweat equity is really important. A little intellect and a little good luck also helps. But the point is, you get the mechanism by which to be able to achieve success here. And you have sort of the aspiration that wouldn't exist anywhere else. I was talking with one of my cousins who's married to a woman in France. And so they've lived in France for many years. And she's an English teacher, interestingly. And you know what she loves to teach? The American dream. And so I'm asking her about this. And she's like, I'm like, well, is there a French dream? She's like, no. She says with a very French accent, no, there is no French dream. The American dream is completely unique. And so it's fascinating and like it lights up the kids' imagination, right? The American dream. And like, this is something that we grew up with that not everyone has had exposure to. You don't grow up thinking you're going to really do anything different. If your parents were teachers, you become a teacher in France. If your parents were, engineers, you become an engineer. It's a very sort of already laid out path for you. And that's how the rest of the world is, unlike in the good old US of A, right, where we can do better and we expect every generation to do better.
That's right. And you don't have to look very hard into our history to see example after example of that playing out. I mean, like, just start from our founding fathers. These were everyday citizens who decided to take some steps and then created the greatest nation on earth. Whether it was George Washington, he took his first oath of public service at the age of 17. He was a surveyor, a very local, small job. And then he grew into the general and then the first president of the United States, Sam Adams. He started a grassroots organization, the Sons of Liberty, that advocated for independence. He was an everyday person as well. Thomas Paine was actually someone who was taken out of school, but then ended up writing Common Sense that mobilized all of the country to fight for independence. And let's take it further. We were the country that brought man to the skies. You know who did that? The Wright brothers. They were bike shop owners. They had a crazy idea. They took a risk, and they on the beaches of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, flew man to the sky. And then our country and the system that we have, the freedoms and the opportunities that we create in this country because of those principles, led to, in just 66 years later, Neil Armstrong stepping foot on the moon, taking one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. That's an only in America story.
Okay, I'm getting chills. I'm glad I have a turtleneck on. It's kind of chilly in the studio anyway. I really do. I get chills when I hear these stories. But I need more of it. And our kids need more of it.
Yes,
and I know this is what you guys are trying to do. Maybe it's just, getting together with your neighbors and, over dinner. We don't do enough community stuff either. I mean, we need more and more community. Everything's online. But what if, you have somebody over for dinner and you just talk about this? Remember how fortunate and lucky we are to be in this country.
That's what this campaign is about. I'll tell you one really sad statistic that's come out recently. Okay. A Gallup poll had the percentage of U.S. adults proud to be an American at only 58%. It's the lowest ever recorded, Trish. And that's a problem. That's sad. Regardless of who's in office and what the political climate is, we need to remember that we are Americans and we have shared values and that we are very fortunate to be here. And the number, by the way, is way lower, in the 40s, for young Americans. Whoa. And so this
well, you know what that is. I mean, for goodness sakes. I mean, and you look at Trump getting rid of the Department of Education, and I have a feeling that some of this stuff is related. I want to show you, there's a woman who's the president of the National Education Association, and she was speaking out recently. And let me just show you this soundbite, because I actually think that this this DEI movement was pretty... look, I'm all for diversity. I think it's really important to have different viewpoints. By the way, part of that means accepting conservative viewpoints, thank you very much, around the table. But, you don't pick someone just because of color or because you think that they're owed something, et cetera. And this is the woman who is running the Department of Education, or rather, forgive me, the National Education Association. And I do put some blame on them and sort of the federalization, if you would, of education. Here she is.
We cannot fear the future. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Say the words. Say the words. Say them. You are powerful. You are the NEA. Hold your head high. Hold your head high. NEA. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Hold your head high.
Okay. So, I don't disagree. Hold your head high, and there is some merit in diversity of opinion and welcoming people from all spheres of life, etc. But unfortunately, I think that kind of took hold, and you can combine that with, say, Mayor Brandon Johnson out in Chicago, who wants to ignore the Constitution because, DHS shouldn't be in his town. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff going on right now. He's also sort of looking to have some kind of form of reparations there in Chicago. I'm just saying, there's been this desire to somehow turn the founding fathers and everything that America stood for into something bad. And I think it's really important that we remember how good it is, and we re-educate kids. I mean, she's in tough shape, right? Because she's going to lose a lot of money. But, we need to actually kind of have some sort of principle of, do they even say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore in school?
I'm not sure. My son's only 2 years old, so thankfully I don't know.
My kids go to a private school and they don't.
But what I will say is that our founding fathers, they wrote and enshrined in our founding documents equal opportunity, not equal outcomes. And that's what makes us great. That's what has created the American dream. And when we're talking about freedom, she kept citing freedom. I think we have a different definition of what freedom means. Freedom means being able to pursue the American dream and however you see fit, without government intervention, over regulation, without the need to ask for permission at every step and turn you take. And we see that at Americans for Prosperity. We try to help people take steps in their own lives towards their unique version of the American dream so that they reach those heights, but then also open up opportunities for others. And so that's kind of what we're trying to galvanize people towards, to celebrate what makes us being Americans special. We want to educate, inspire, and mobilize Americans. And that means you actually have to step up. You can't just complain. You can't just put a post online.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And you guys have a lot of good ideas there on the site. So I encourage people to go there. But, what I love about what you're doing is you're creating this grassroots effort. You're getting people involved. And look, this doesn't mean, you got to write a check. It can mean, you go knock on doors, you go talk to your neighbor, you have some people over for dinner, and why not have a 250th birthday party? Right, for America. Do that next Saturday night, and just spend some time honoring who and getting the word out in that way. It could mean running for local office, for school board, for city council, for mayor, for or maybe running for a big political office. I don't know, but whatever you can do, I think as an individual to help remember the foundation of this nation and what makes us who we are is really important, especially this year.
Yes. And I think a lot of people ask themselves, what difference can I make? And we have so many examples through our history of everyday Americans who just took that first small step. And before you know it, only in this country can that one small step, amplified with thousands of others taking their small steps, can make a true impact.
Okay, where to go again?
Go to takeonesmallstep.com and learn how you can get involved.
I love it. Daniel, it's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So happy 250th. We get to do this all year.
Almost. We'll definitely come back.
I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, beautiful.